Oh, shake to the camera.
That's all right.
All right.
Good morning. Good morning.
Another episode of East Carolina Rods.
Right here, the hottest podcast in the automotive industry.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So it's, of course, co-host Brian Rogers, and I'm Bobby, and we're gonna get things started. This is breaking into a new month.
New month. So yesterday was May 32nd.
May 32nd.
Yeah, that's what yesterday was for us. So anytime the manufacturer ends their month on a weekend, we always have to roll the month over into the next Monday, which was yesterday. And but I say, Bobby, we did a good job yesterday. We had great effort and everything. I came up with some pretty inventive closes. I had a guessing game close yesterday. It was a it was a weird one, if you don't mind me telling. But
Love to start out with a story.
So yesterday was a really good high intensity day out here on the car lot, and we needed some Rams in order to hit our Ram number. Not only does our Ram number affect how many Rams we get allocated for months on end, but it's very important for these last few months because we have the TRX that's going to be allocated. We have the Rumblebee that's going to be allocated. And so it was very important for us to hit our Ram number. So we had a customer yesterday on a Ram, and the gentleman was a financier, financial advisor. And, he worked for a major bank, and just as nice as he could be, but extremely analytical.
Right.
And so we gave him a price on the vehicle. He was trading in a Jeep Gladiator, and he wanted to go to a full-size Ram. And so he picked the right day. He picked the right day to do that. So anyway, the story is we give him a price on it. So normal negotiations, we give a price. Customer, sometimes says, okay, that looks good, and they sign up. Sometimes they go, well, I'd like to be at this much payment, or I'd like to be at this much out the door. And sometimes they make a counter. Well, this guy didn't make a counter. This guy just said that he liked the truck, but he wanted to see how low we would be able to go. So Big E, the salesperson, asked him, said, well, where do you feel like your comfort level is? And we can kind of go from there. And the guy wouldn't say anything.
Okay.
So the guy was, like I said, very analytical, but he wouldn't give a figure on what he would do. So we decided to have fun with it. So whenever Big E came back up to the desk and asked me, said, hey, this guy's not giving me any kind of figure he'll buy it. And I said, oh, we got the guessing game going on here, huh?
Right.
So I wrote on the offer to purchase, hand wrote, the guessing game, ... And then I put a figure on a little sheet of paper on what I thought he would buy it for.
Okay.
And then I took a piece and I folded it up so that way nobody could see it.
Right.
And I taped it right beside the guessing game, ... I told Big E, go over there and offer him this guessing game, play and guess, and tell him that this figure is the figure that I think he'd buy it for. So human nature is curiosity. You ever heard of curiosity kills the cat? Right? Well, in this particular case, everybody's curiosity wants to know what's on that sheet of paper.
Yeah.
So then the customer goes,
we're wanting to know what's on his mind. What was his number?
Yeah. So Big E goes over there and he goes, man, he says, I've never seen anything like this, but the manager says we're playing a guessing game with you today. And since you're not willing to give out a number, he's got the number right here folded up on this sheet of paper on what he'll think you'll do. And the customer was like, and Big E was like, would you care to guess? And the customer was like, well, 42. Well, there you go. You got his number now, right? So
right. Yeah.
we were able to craftily get that number out of the customer on where he wanted to be.
Right.
And of course, there is, and this is pretty much true in every single case. There's a number where customers want to be, and a number where customers what they'll actually do.
Right.
So, but we were able to negotiate and get a deal done with them, and we had fun in the process. So,
Yeah.
Another
It
Ram.
is different. I've never had a deal quite pan out like that. But
Just be inventive and have fun. Look, the whole thing about this business and everything can't be so serious all the time.
no doubt.
You'll drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, now you got to have fun with with some customers and some deals and the way that we structure deals and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Be inventive. Don't do the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's one of the things that we talk about, but this business is dynamic, and sometimes we can create that dynamic atmosphere and create an excitement that people don't expect when they walk into a dealership. We do things like the bonuses where we'll be playing a game, for instance, like baseball, where you operate as a team. And the customer walking in doesn't really know what the diamond is on the glass. They see something there, and they see the managers going up there, and you getting on the PA and announcing certain things, and it generates excitement because there's that curiosity, like you say, human nature. They're going to be like, "Hey, what's going on? What are y'all doing?" And then they kind of want to get in on the game sometimes, especially if they're really looking to buy a car. They want to see something with their name on the board, or they want to hear their name on the PA getting announced for the car that's being sold.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we have a thing here where we do a shout out for the customer. We ring bells, cowbells. We've got.
I thought about bringing the cowbell in here. I was like, nah. Well, you know what a cowbell? Everybody knows what a cowbell is. But you guys have like 3 or 4 around the showroom.
Well, we've added to our cowbell repertoire, and again, that goes into not really mindset, but a little bit of tradition, right? Mm-hmm. A little bit of tradition. We used to do this way back in the past, where we did shout outs with the cowbells and announcements over the intercom and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Kind of curbed that down a little bit. Now we brought it back up. Now I have customers that come up to the desk. Mm-hmm. After a deal's been done, and they're waiting to go into finance office, and they come up to the desk and they go, "Are you gonna go ahead and shout me out over the intercom and ring the bells?"
Right. That's right.
They're excited over this.
Yeah. It's a big moment for most people in their lives. I mean, we sell cars every day, and maybe the excitement sometimes we get numb to it or something. I don't know, but you have to realize from the customer's perspective that this happens every 3, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes we don't want it to be that way, but every 10 years, they hang on to cars or something. But it's a momentous occasion. It's a life-changing experience sometimes for folks to buy a car to be able to upgrade their lifestyle.
For the majority of people, it's their second biggest purchase that they'll make in their lifetime, other than their home. Mm-hmm. For the majority of people, but in our cowbell repertoire has grown. We got a new digital sales manager, Jonathan. He's graduated from Mississippi State. Okay. And one of Mississippi State's things is the cowbell.
Oh,
right? So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So anyway, I was giving a shout out, and he had just come on for his first day.
Right.
And I was giving a shout out, and he was kind of taken back a little bit by it. He says, "I love that." And I said, "Yeah, man." I said, "It doggone brings the excitement up in the showroom, and you cannot be sad or in a melancholy fashion when you're doing a shout out ringing the cowbell. It's just impossible. It elevates the energy in the showroom." He goes, "I've got a cowbell out in my trunk."
In the trunk? Oh, wow.
Now,
that's awesome.
Now, I looked at him and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" He says, "Yeah, I'm a Mississippi State Bulldog. Cowbells is what we do."
Nice.
And I was like, "Man, go get that thing.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go."
Automatically determined he's a great fit for the company. You're ready for the shout out.
That's what I base my judgment on. If you got a cowbell in your trunk, come on down to East Carolina. We'll go ahead and give you a shot.
That's right. Yeah. But he's a great addition. We've only had him on board for a few days, but I can tell he's very insightful, and digital, of course, being a huge focus in the industry for years now, and I think we've put focus on it, but having somebody that's specialized in that will help the dealership and help our growth, I think, tremendously.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm constantly trying to get onto. I'm trying to wedge my way into social media. I don't do like a lot of these guys on social media, but if you're not in social media, making videos, putting your face out there, that's just an extra potential source of income. But everything's online now, and if you go to certain websites or even listen to certain people online, say if you follow a particular person that's an influencer, so much now is out there, and you can glean a lot from the industry just by watching a few people out there. But I was going to ask this about tips for a consumer in the digital realm. What would you suggest for a customer just starting to look online? What would be a good strategy for a customer to get as much information, but also get maybe closer to making the decision, like narrowing down? Like what would you say is one of the best tools to narrow down their search?
So for a consumer, if you're looking for new and you are shopping, I don't know, let's do the midsize SUV, the Grand Cherokee platform. So you may have your Grand Cherokee being compared to a Ford Explorer, right? You may have your Grand Cherokee being to the Acadia. If you're going to do your research, I would start my research by going to the manufacturer's website and doing a new build on there. Not necessarily that you're going to be going into the store to order one.
Yeah.
But I would do a new build and get it the way that get the vehicle, this particular case, a Grand Cherokee, exactly how you'd like it, right?
Yeah.
And, so if you're going to be spending $50,000, $60,000 on a Grand Cherokee, and likewise an Acadia or likewise an Explorer, if you're going to do that, be precise in what you want, right? So you're going to lay yourself out a ground line. This is what I want, and then these are the features that I absolutely must have, right?
Right.
So somewhere in that range of what you want and what you absolutely have to have, somewhere in that range is where you need to line on, and stay true to your focus, because if you know you're going to be rolling out of here with a car payment, don't you want to be happy about what you're paying for, right?
Right.
I see a lot of people settle where they wanted a Jeep Grand Cherokee limited reserve, right?
Yeah.
And they settle and go with an Altitude, a Jeep Grand Cherokee Altitude.
Right.
And they settle, and the only reason they settle is because their payment is like $120 cheaper per month.
Yeah.
I get the reasoning there.
Right.
But is it really worth $120 a month to say, I'm going to make this payment for something that I settled on? Or am I going to be happy making another $120 a month payment for the vehicle that I want?
Right.
That would be my advice. And then after that, then you can actually search online for Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealers and in your local vicinity, like around us.
You can do that right on the Jeep website.
Yeah. Right on the Jeep website. And so for us and everything, our outreach goes in a little bit into Wilson. Our outreach goes a little bit into Kinston, into Washington, into Rocky Mount a little bit. But all those other dealerships outreach are going into Greenville. So you can kind of find what you want from that. So as soon as you find that, my next bit of advice is maybe make a phone call to the dealership. Try to find a reliable, trustworthy salesperson. Go to Google before you call. You can go to Google, and sometimes you'll see some Google reviews for salespeople and everything. So there's a lot of things that customers can do digitally to prepare themselves for the next vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
If it's used, one of the things I like to do for used is I like to go to a third party site, usually some like Auto Trader, Car Gurus. This is what everybody seems to do.
Mm-hmm.
But find that vehicle that you'd like to have exactly the same way, but you're going to put in year, make, model, and everything, and trim level. Make sure you put the trim level in there as well. Do
Right.
your search. Now, most people search from price low to high. Okay, once they find the type vehicle they want,
Right.
the first thing in their
Natural inclination.
yeah, the first thing they're going to do is go, okay, let's go ahead and filter this from low to high.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine to do. Put your price leaders on there. Pick out a couple of price leaders, but the mid-tier ones, okay? And normally we are a market-based pricing store,
Yeah.
so we tailor our pricing for used cars to be in that top 5, right?
Yeah.
But also take time to look at a couple of other models. So you may have a model out there that's the exact same vehicle. The price low to high is going to show this one having only 30,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
But number 6 or number 7 down the list may have only 12,000 miles on it, maybe only a couple $1,000s cheaper.
No.
So that's a couple more years worth of a bumper to bumper warranty.
Mm-hmm.
That safety and peace of mind and everything may be worth that extra couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
So kind of use your wisdom per se about that. But third party sites for pre-owned is pretty doggone good.
Yeah. It's one of those kind of wild things now that we deal with as salespeople, is that most consumers have the same tools that we have on the consumer front that we have on the dealer side. The good thing is that we have a tool that kind of combines all that. It kind of just coagulates
Come
it,
on,
I
V
guess.
Auto.
Yeah, V Auto. So
Yes.
we can put it out there. We can see that we're going to be number 1 or 2 or 3 in Car Gurus, and the Edmunds site, which I don't think is used as much for car search as Car Gurus, but Carfax, which is a huge tool for people.
Edmunds is more of an informational site.
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
really a consumer buying site.
Yeah.
Would you say?
I would say so. Yeah,
Yeah.
they used to be a little bit higher up in that rank, but they do have a lot of great information and reviews and stuff like that if people wanted to dig in. But those tools are available, and the thing that I would advise, my advice as a salesperson, is that, because it happened to me last night, and you have to be at least aware of what you're putting into these tools, because say like if you're putting in the value for your vehicle, I had a customer that was like, hey, we're like $4,000 apart on our trade, and I was like, man, that don't sound right. Something's not jiving here.
Oh, is
And-
this the one where he was off 2 model years?
Yeah, it was 2 years off.
Oh.
It wasn't his primary vehicle; it was his wife. So I mean,
He was going by memory on what he thought it was.
Yeah,
He thought he was going by was a 23, but it was a 21.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just one of those things. If you go in, and that's why I don't mind, because of the transparency that we offer at the dealership, going through it and say, hey, look, let's go on to KBB together and just see, because we had the printout, and I know sometimes people think when we print out something in black and white that maybe we can alter it, but it comes straight from KBB. And, so when we pulled it up, we were right there in the average of what his year model was. It's just that we had to be on the right year model, to get that. And the other thing being that this happens sometimes, and I think Car Gurus is getting a little better at it, but sometimes Car Gurus does not have a check box for certain equipment. So when you're searching, take it with a grain of salt. If you see something at that high end with similar miles, sometimes, like the Luxury Tech Group, usually there's a check box in the Grand Cherokee for the Luxury Tech Group, but that adds so much equipment in the Grand Cherokee when you're talking about a limited, and say like from all the way up to 25, and even for the newer ones, but just to simplify things, if you go from 21 to 25, there's a Luxury Tech Group on the limited package that adds a 360 camera. It adds cooled seats. It has a power shift column.
Mhm.
It adds the types of features that really put it to almost being like an Overland as far as equipment. And from the factory, that's like a plus grand package.
Yeah.
So
So if you're just comparing limited versus limited, yeah, and when you're appraising these cars, you have to take that into account too.
right.
For instance, Lincoln is the absolute worst to kind of match up to the comparables.
Yeah, 201, 202A, and these different codes for their packages.
Yeah, we had
can
a
be confusing.
Corsair Reserve 3. So there's 3 levels of the reserves on Corsair, 1, 2, and 3. But the books don't recognize 1, 2, and 3.
Oh,
So you gotta have to know what your competition has, which our tool vAuto that Bobby already mentioned kind of helps us do. But the consumer, all they're going to do whenever they punch in 2024 Lincoln Corsair Reserve, all the reserves are going to pop up.
Right.
But you got to kind of do your due diligence, because this particular reserve had illumination package, it had dynamic ride handling, it had a lot of other stuff. So when folks are looking and they do that that toggle from low to high, I'm not on that particular car. I'm not going to be in the top 5 because this car's got more appropriate equipment at an adequate price. So.
Yeah. So as a consumer, you kind of have to be smart, even in using your tools. If you or if you're into that sort of equipment, if you don't care, you're looking for the best price. You don't care if it's got cooled seats or heated seats or whatever. You just want the lowest miles and the newest year model for the cheapest price. Well, that I think kind of limits you and knowing what you could have, and the other thing being the certification. If somebody's buying one of our product lines, whether it be Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and I would say Fiat, but we don't ever see any pre-owned
What's that?
Fiats. Yeah. Yeah. So the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram line, the certification adds so much value, and
it's factory certified.
Factory certified.
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
If you're going out there and you see a GMC dealer and they have a Grand Cherokee and they tell you it's certified, they're absolutely telling you the truth. But what they aren't telling you is it's not factory certified. It's factory. It's only certified by them. Okay, that if you have an issue but if you're in if you take a family road trip down to Florida, good luck.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out real quick that vehicle's not certified.
Yeah.
Factory certification. So if we have a Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram vehicle and it's 5 years from the calendar year, 5 years and under 75,000 miles, if it can be certified, like it doesn't have an active recall on it, everything's kosher with the vehicle, and it passes the 125 checkpoint inspection, we can put a factory certification on there. That gives it a lot more warranty, a lot more benefits with roadside assistance and rental car allowance and all that kind of stuff. And that is good nationwide because why? Because it is a factory certified vehicle. Another thing to keep your eye out on for consumer for wise shopping. If a dealership says it's certified and it's an off brand, it is. But it isn't, if you get my drift. It's not factory certified.
That's right. Yeah, they go to that Jeep dealer and they're like, hey, I've got this certified warranty, and they go to look it up with their VIN search. They're going to find out that way, which would be a bad way, 700, 800 miles away from the place that they have to go back to get the service work done, that they don't have a warranty that works through all Jeep dealers like ours does, or Dodge dealers.
And that goes into integrity and transparency.
Yeah.
If you really want to think about it, if you have a sales consultant that's working a deal, and they tell a customer that this vehicle is certified, okay, and customers think that certified pre-owned vehicles are going to be covered no matter what, right? No matter what. Well, if you tell somebody something's certified, and like I said, they find themselves in a spot out of town. Let's say like you take a little weekend jaunt to the beach, right? And you have an issue with your vehicle. Now you've got to pull it into a dealership or a repair shop down there at the coast.
Yeah.
you're going to have a lot to fess up for saying something is certified when that certification only goes with that particular dealership.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bad experience, and we don't want that.
Yeah.
Not here.
No. Yeah, and that's I think we've of course had different certifications over the years. We've got it pretty simple now, where we just do the Chrysler Dodge Jeep, and we don't do the CPO Go that was around for a little while now. We have our, even if it's not certified, we do have our East Carolina Advantage, which is a better warranty than you'll find at most dealers, even franchise dealers, with the 3 months, 3,000 miles that would cover basic mechanical.
Yep.
You know, and that's free. I mean, it's like, you know, I know that some people might look at the warranty and even scoff at it sometimes, because maybe they're used to this lifetime warranty that some dealers offer. That's almost like, it's kind of, I hate to call it a gimmick in front of a customer, but it kind of is. You know, it's like they're basically bringing you back in for service and paying for it with their service maintenance that you have to do.
Yeah, the lifetime powertrain warranty that some dealers offer and everything. When you find out only the engine block is covered, that existing engine block, that's the only part that's really covered and everything. It's kind of a letdown. Yeah. Again, not good for transparency and integrity in this business. Let me go ahead and tell you something. Integrity, you'll never find anything. I mean, that is part of our traditions in RIDE. Right up here, RIDE. Yeah. The I stands for integrity. We truly believe that in our company values, and all of our guys. I can tell you, if you meet one of my guys out here on the lot, they're gonna shoot it straight with you, Mr. Customer or Mrs. Customer. They're gonna shoot it to you straight, and if they don't shoot it to you straight, then I'm going to have a problem with that.
Yeah. It don't last long to be that kind of salesperson.
Nope.
Even if you work at a dealership that doesn't value that, it's probably not going to last very long. You know, because ultimately our name is very important in this business. I talked about it briefly. You know, that we're kind of a public figure, you know, in this sales world. But once people start hearing your name and associate it with lies and deceit, and you know, that you're that type of salesperson, it carries with you. Unfortunately, folks like that, you know, they're the ones that tend to just hop around from dealership to dealership to dealership, and you know, it's not a fun way to make a living, in my opinion, because you never get to settle down and make a home for yourself. You know, I feel like that's what makes successful salespeople in this business, is finding a place that you can develop your customer base and increase your income every year, because you have repeat referral and you know, develop those relationships. Of course, the biggest way to be successful in this business is to continue to have high integrity.
If you skip around from place to place to place, there's absolutely no way that you can firmly entrench yourself and your name and your own personal brand for your customer clientele. Mm-hmm. You know, I really think that for people in this that want to make a career out of it, if you spend 10 years in a place and you figure it's time to move on, that's a little bit different, right? Sure. If it's time to move on, you may find a new place, but you're expecting that career to continue mm-hmm. for another 10 or 15 years at this new place.
Right.
If you work a year and a half here, a year and a half there, a year and a half here, and go around, there's really no way to firmly entrench. So it seems like you're starting over all over again. Yes, you still have your customers you sold at the different places. Yes, 15% of those customers may follow you on social media.
Yeah.
But the other 85 that don't, there's no kind of reversing course. You're probably not going to be able to attract them people, especially if you move from town to town. So, career-minded salespeople, getting new in the business. Might I say the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
And might I say, once you feel like you found a place that I would call home, go ahead and hone into your skill set and really study your tail off on these vehicles. Study your tail off on you mentioned YouTube videos, other people that's been successful, and that's another thing. Hang around successful salespeople. If you're somebody new in this business and everything, model yourself off of other successful salespeople. Kind of, you don't have to ask them 25 questions. Right. All you have to do is observe their working habits. Yeah. That's kind of like what I did. The heavy hitters that whenever I came into the business, I was like, this guy's doggone selling 20 cars a month. Yeah. Maybe I better listen to his telephone calls. Mm-hmm. Maybe I better listen while he's got a customer in his office. Maybe I better listen to how he's able to overcome objections. Mm-hmm. And by hanging out with and listening to good quality sales professional and veterans, mimic and shadow what they do, and you'll learn a lot and take it all in and digest it. Pretty soon you develop your own word tracks off of that. Mm-hmm. And once they're your own word tracks, then it just becomes second nature. You don't even think about it anymore. Yeah. So a little bit of tidbit and nugget advice.
Well, I had kind of a aha moment yesterday. A customer had asked me a question I didn't even know the answer to. As much as I entrenched myself into this, it's kind of crazy, but I was like, well, let me go into Google. Of course, that's the first thing most people are going to do.
Yeah.
Hey.
Or AI, right?
Yeah.
Or Google and AI is about the same now, is it?
It's becoming all of one. You're going to get an AI response, but maybe some search results way down below. But so I searched passenger side screen for the Ram. He had asked if you can add it after the fact, and I was like, man, that's a tricky question. The answer was yes and no is what it ended up being. But when I searched it, I came up.
What?
I have a YouTube video that goes over the passenger side screen, and I was like, man, it's finally starting to pay off.
You just Googled yourself.
I Googled passenger side screen, and because it was
Big
a fairly
Bob.
popular video, so I would say anybody out there, if you want to continue to develop, start building a YouTube library of things about the cars, and if you do enough of them, eventually you're going to end up in a search result, and people are going to see it, and they're going to say, well, let me look at that, and then they might contact you and buy a car. So, one of those things I was like, man, that's pretty cool. I just figured I'd share that. I've been doing it for 10 years. Been making YouTube videos for 10 years. Got over 100 videos, of going over stuff. And
Bob, that shows persistence. And persistence is one of the most common characteristics of success. If you never give up on, if you have a goal and you never give up on that goal, and you keep working and you keep clawing and striving to survive for that goal and everything, most times than not, you will reach it. So, you reached yourself on Google, so you're the paramount now, Bob.
Full circle. But I know we're getting close to that time again. I don't know if you got anything else you want to share before we start this.
Ready to go for the month of June. June 2 is actually June 1 for us, but we're going to start June off with a bang, and I guarantee you next week we'll be talking about some specials this here in June. So got the conference call in a little bit, figure out what's going on here for this month's incentives, but I think we're going to have a fantastic summer. I am loaded up. Loaded up on inventory out here at East Carolina, I can tell you. I try to do this for each and every single summer. I have 163 new vehicles on the lot and 80-some pre-owned vehicles on the lot. and we are ready to go. I think our staff is finally full at this moment. I think we finally got a full staff. I think we've made some great changes in management, and I think our sales floor has gotten stronger. Do want to give a shout out to Charlene. Welcome back, Charlene.
Welcome, Charlene.
She's been having a very tough time medically, but we've got her back in the fold now, even though it's only for a few days a week. She'll be getting better as time goes along. Really just pleased with having the fullness of staff now, fullness of managers, ready to go for the summertime. Lot packed. Positivity is abundant. I'm ready to go. So with that, that's all I really needed to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. And thank you so much for watching. Y'all remember to like, comment, and follow.
Hit that like button right now while
Yeah.
you're
Yeah, go
while
ahead
you're
and
watching
hit
it.
it.
Hit that like button right now. Send a little comment about what you think and everything. Bob puts a lot of effort into this and everything, and I'm just here for the ride. So no pun
Well,
intended.
It's a team effort as always, and we're going to continue to ride through this new month. And y'all, thanks so much. We'll see y'all next week.
Take care.